faccio che dove with the beast out.
All right, hi you guys. Welcome to the presentation of Code Racer. We built a little app where you can practice and show your programming skills. So the problem with learning to program is one, programming is very hard and it's isolating. There aren't very many fun ways to learn how to program, and mostly you're just like sitting and staring at your computer. And the other problem with landing a job with programming is coding interviews are very high pressure, and oftentimes you're required to code in front of other people. So it's a high stakes environment. There's a few examples of people with problems with learning how to code. So there's tons of videos why learning to code feels so hard on YouTube. There's a ton of questions like this on Reddit. If you find programming so hard, should you just not do it? And I just Googled, does programming get easier? And there's 200 million searches for this question. So it's programming is hard. So we built a solution for this. We built an app, a website called Code Racer that allows you to compete against other people in real time by giving you a challenge, a coding problem that you try to solve before the other person. So it's essentially a high stakes environment because you're playing against someone else and you're trying to win, and you can see like the other person's code while it's happening. So it applies like pressure. And we made it so that coding can be like fun. You can learn with friends and by sending them a link to the challenge and compete against them. And you can make new friends along the way by joining other games. So now we're gonna show you a little demo.
Okay, so let's move on to the demo. Okay, so let's imagine that I'm a student at Adult Dev. Okay, and I have my friend Julian back in Germany, and I want to challenge him a little bit. Okay, and see who does coding better. So very easily, I will go to Discord. What's up, Julian? Okay. Are you ready for a challenge? Basically, I'm just challenging Julian to a coding match, okay? So then I go to the platform. Okay, so I come here and I go to, let me save this. I go to, well, CodeRacer.xyz, okay? And you can see the home screen here. Here, obviously, you can see the different matches that are being currently played right now. So we have 4 matches going on. And I can either join a match, but in this case, because I've talked with Julian and we want to do a race, we're going to do a game against each other, okay? So I can put a name here. I can put it the ultimate coding race. Okay, I can choose different levels of difficulty. For this case, okay, let's try something easy to start with. And I create a battle. Okay, so now Julian is able to see the battle created on the dashboard on his end. Okay, so Julian, when you're ready, we can.
So I can I can see the battle on my end as Annual set already. So now I can join. And once I join, Annual gets basically notified that I'm ready, and now we can see the challenge that we have to solve. And basically from now on, it's who is the fastest wins. So let's just go.
Right. So basically, while Julian is typing, his code appears here. So putting a sense of pressure on me to finish faster. Okay, so I'm already like stressed out. But okay, he seems to be doing fine, but I don't want to get distracted. Maybe I can close his code as well. And okay, so let's say function even or odd. Oh, I want to copy his code because he seems to be faster. I can't. Okay. Okay. I can't. No cheating here. Okay. Just real coders. So basically I can keep writing here. Okay. And basically even or odd. But okay, I want to try return 1. Okay. Let's say that I think this is the thing that I'm trying to do. Okay. So if I do run, okay, it tells me that I was not correct in the way that I approach this. Okay, so it tells me that there's something I expect, maybe a syntax mistake, or even depending on the case, could also be an example of the test that was failed. So the platform knows the if a bunch of tests to to basically analyze if the code that you wrote is correct or not. Okay, so Julian, seems you are ready. You want to
I
test
am ready, yes.
your end?
So once you are finished with your code and want to test it, obviously you can test it first if it works, and if it's wrong, like on your show that it's not working, and you get the syntax error here logged in the chat. But now I'm done with the code, and I submit it, and I passed all the tests that we specified for that challenge. And on my screen, I can see you won and all the tests passed, and that I'm the first one who finished it. And as you can see on your screen, he lost. He wasn't the fastest one, and he has to try harder next time.
Okay. Next time, so I can go back to dashboard. Okay. And if we wanted to play another game, that's basically the whole process. We could set up a different level of difficulty, and it randomly matches you with a different coding challenge from our database.
After that amazing demo, we can go through a little bit with something more exciting for your brain, like the tech stack. Okay. Yes, you can see here we have used a lot of technologies for client. I will kind of make the action onto the Socket.io and the Monaco editor that we are using the Socket.io both in client and server. And the Monaco editor, it's like, as you can see, is kind of a basic for our app. Okay. The server, later I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Nest.js and Socket.io in the learnings, but here is the text we're using now. And for the database, we were thinking in use kind of PostgreSQL. It's not implemented yet. We are going to make a kind of future optimization for that. Here I have, just for your information, a little sequence of diagram of data flow for the app. Maybe we can go deeper insight on that on the Q&A if you want, because I think that's a little bit small here and with a lot of information, but it's just for you to have a little bit of big picture of how the data it's going from the client to the server and come back again to the client. Okay. Now for the learning part, the learning part, sorry. I would start the beginning with the explaining you for the hook use a custom hook, sorry, that we created for use context inside of it, but it was quite extensive, and I think we can make later in a special conference about that theme in order to explain a little bit more. Here I'm going to center a little bit on the WebSockets connection. Okay, here in the left diagram you can see how is a traditional HTTP connection and the WebSocket connection that we are using with the WebSocket technology. The main difference is that in the WebSocket connection, the connection still open between the server and the client. But as you can see in the HTTP connection, it's just one request response connection, and then it gets terminated. And the right picture of the screen, you can see how we can set the Socket.io in that case in the server and in the client. So you can see it works by using basic syntax with event listener stuff that it's a socket.emit in event listeners. Yes, I told that event listener. Sorry, yeah. And you can see that the server side and the client side. I'm going a little bit deeper in that later. The learnings also. What I learned about that project is you have to go deep in the documentation, because at the very beginning, I just started using the Socket.io documentation, not taking care that we were going to use Next.js. And it was very, as you can see in the previous slide, the syntax, it was quite straight and quite easy. But at the moment when I had to apply it into the Next.js architecture, it was a little bit different. As you can see here, while in the server, in the Socket.io syntax, we just use socket.emit for send messages, and socket.on for subscribe to some event. In the server side, using Nest.js, what we use is here like kind of add subscribe messages, and it's quite easy also when you know. But at the very beginning, for me, it was a little bit creepy to adapt to that part of the tech. Okay, so go deep in the documentation is not always the same for all the cases. Okay, and here also what I learned, it's a little bit how it works in the Nest.js, the stuff about the module, controller, and service. And we get by Arol's hand, we get an analogy about with the Office TV show, and it just very quickly, but in order to explain a little bit, here we have a client that wants to buy some paper, then makes a request, a call to Dunder Mifflin's company that could be the Nest.js server part. The Nest.js server part, it has three basics. While managing requests, I mean, it has three basics parts. That is the module that could be kind of a mixture between the Office and Michael Scott, the boss, because it's the person who allows to the other people make his job, and the Office that has everything at place in order to be able to work. Inside of the Dunder Mifflin Office, we have the controller that will be the commercial. I don't remember the name. I think it's Bill. I don't remember. That takes the call from the client and knows what he's asking for and pass the request to the service. In that case, would be the Daryl, I think its name. It's a guy from the warehouse, and that guy is who take care about that request. And in the Nest.js module would be in the Nest.js architecture should be like kind of the part who takes care about the logic and all that other stuff that has been to be done in order to be able to return that data to the controller, and the controller will return it again to the client. In that case, that data, it takes the example as a paper request. Okay, more or less that would be the roles of all of that. And thank you for the attention. Now we will have another moment for the questions and answers. Okay, so okay, some questions. Do you have any questions? My colleagues can come with me to help me in order to respond all that questions that we're going to have.
I have a question. Remember, you have to repeat the question. Did you implement everything in terms of features that you wanted, or you have some things that to do now?
We had a lot of
Question.
I have to repeat the questions. Yes, here Olga is asking if we had implemented everything that we want to implement with the interrelation with the features, or if we had something that we haven't done and we would, something like that. That would be the question. So yes, for sure we haven't implemented all the ideas we had. At the very beginning, we accomplished the MVP we have created. but we have a lot of features that we want to implement in the future, like can be some kind of superpowers stuff that in order to make more difficult while you are coding, send to the opponent some kind of tricky, I don't know, challenges or kind of make it a little bit more difficult, you know. For sure, the database, we don't have it yet. It's a question mark. It's an important step that we are going to work on it after that.
What, why, what would the database like give you?
Perseverance of the data and the challenges, and maybe if they are quick challenges now, like less than 15 minutes, because now how we have implemented the data can remain like 15 minutes if there is no changes in it, but we want to make that kind of little bit more permanent, persistent. Yes, please.
How does the authentication work right now? So like you share the link and that's it, or is there any like registration login involved, or how do you handle that thing? Repeat the question.
Yes, Olga is asking very friendly if how is the authorization or the authentication working right now? If we have some something working, or if we only send the link that we have and that allows the other person to join the battle or so. So
Yeah, so I came because otherwise they would not hear me. But so the idea is that we wanted to, well, two things, right? Obviously, simplify the scope of the project to make it feasible to do in 3 weeks. But also we wanted to reduce the amount of friction that people will have to start coding, right? So to start with, we didn't have anything like analytics or like, you know, a dashboard for like the metrics and so on. We just decided to do a pure, you know, plug and play, so to speak, platform, right? So we decided to make it super easy for people to come here. Well, you saw the demo, right? So I didn't have to log in before or anything like that. So it's kind of like tools like Excalibur that don't necessarily allow you, like require you to log in to start with. But the idea is that later on we can add the authentication process and maybe keep it as simple and straightforward as we did, but maybe with the option to also log in and keep your scores and maybe like follow some people and keep challenging others and so on.
I have a question. It might have just been explained, but I can't space out for a second. If there's a game on the dashboard and you're waiting, for example, for Julian to come in, can't just any random person just get into that game against you?
Right now, it's technically possible. So the question is, if I got that right, is while we are, if you create a game, a race, and while you're waiting for your friend, someone can join you at that moment and play against you. Yeah, technically it's possible right now. That's why we created the possibility to put your the battle name. So in there you could specify maybe it's Julian versus Manel or Bruno or whatever. And so but still technically it's feasible. The idea is through authentication, maybe you can establish like more personalized matches. Yeah.
Thought about maybe, I don't know, for some video games I've seen online, there's like a code that your friend will send you and that way you can get in.
Right.
Or you can get in that.
Well, actually, that's a good comment. So Natalie was saying that some video games have like a code that you can actually send to your friends to play with them. Actually, in here, you could get the URL of the battle and send it to your friend. But still, the option is still open for others to join it. But you could do that technically and skip the part of your friend having to go to the dashboard and just jump into the login page. Oh, sorry, the battle page. Any more questions?
I have one that is quite long. Okay. So it's for we really like that made me the impression that is Manuel, the one that shared the learnings. I would really like, including you, each one of you give me one takeaway of this project. It can be a technical learning, it can be non-technical.
So guys, one big learning from the project. You guys want to start?
Main takeaway.
Main takeaway.
So I can start with that. So basically, don't let Ruben test your code. He will definitely break it. So Ruben encountered an error when like you tried to log the process of the server running the test. You could actually receive any data you wanted from there. So, which is a pretty severe issue, and it took quite a lot of time to get this fixed.
My main takeaway was that I feel like ChatGPT is like way behind in terms of helping with a lot of the backend stuff. So I think our jobs will be protected for a little while because I think like working with like Nest.js and WebSockets and then with Next and stuff, like the back and forth, like the amount of debugging it took for us to just make the app work and like was a lot, and doing like something small, like a small simple change can just like break like so many things that like and like ChatGPT like doesn't understand like what you're talking about. And so it was helpful to have like Ruben and you like on our side to be able to like help out with that sort of stuff, because yeah, like people actually like know what they're doing, you know, because yeah, it gets really complex. And yeah.
Ange, anything to say?
Yep. So my learning and takeaway was that when we initially started the project, I was quite overwhelmed by the scale of it. And I liked the approach how Arul got us to break it into smaller parts and start making proof of concepts, and then putting those two proof of concepts together, making a small product and then building on top of that. That's something that will stick with me for long. Like next project that I take on, I can actually think how to break it down into pieces, try different parts, put them together, build on top of that. So that was something cool to learn.
Cool. So for me, just to add on that, it was interesting to basically be able to understand that code works in different layers. So you have the logic inside your module or your file, but then you want to understand like layer on top, maybe like how it plays to other modules. Then there's like different layers of like openness or like width of how you want to look at the code. At the end of the, you know, like the big picture has like different levels, and so it's important to understand how like big components or big entities play with each other in order to be able to really understand like what you are doing at the very moment. And maybe you don't need that like micromanaging level of understanding, but more like on the broad scope of things.
And you want one presentation, you want to have something else.
Your personal, no?
My personal.
Yeah, but he was in the, that's what I'm saying, a big presentation like this. It was his own, it was your own, or it was?
It was my own, the stuff like going through the documentation thoroughly. It was mine because I like started with the socket IO, like the universal syntax. And when we go inside the Nest.js, it was a big changing. And even if Arol and Craig, it was shared with me some documentation at the beginning, I thought, I already looked about that, then I think I can do it. And the proof of concept that we do with Ange was working. So, but I was not taking care of Nest.js. So when I started with Nest.js, it was a little bit of
You're saying reading the Nest.js
documentation. Yes. I repeat what I was saying last, to something like reading the Nest.js documentation thoroughly. Yes, it was that.
Any other question?
Yeah, so you have a lot of deploys in your tech stack diagram, right? So if you feel that there might be maybe a redundant one or something that you may change or something that you think that you still into that stack?
That we still need, do you mean we still need improving that, or we still need learning about that?
No, what is it? So,
Now, if it's redundant, it asking if you think that any technology that is in there is redundant. Okay, and that they are in the same thing or not.
I forgot, sorry, I forgot to add in the client side next. Yes, sorry, Ruben was asking us if all the technology we are using, about all the technology we are using, there is some of them that could be redundant or that we thought some of them were discarded. Okay, thank you very much. I want to add that on the client side, I forgot to add Next.js. I know it's here. Sorry. I was looking for another logo. Sorry, my bad.
I don't think so.
I think the only one that is debatable if it's necessary would be Mocha in the backend. It works without it, but we implemented it because we thought it may get us better results in terms of the results that we can give the user back when the function the user submits is not correct. But it turned out it doesn't return better results than we had before. Yeah.
I was gonna say maybe like Next is a little bit like, I mean, maybe we could have done without it, but it's probably helpful long term, but we're not really like using like server-side rendering or anything, and it's kind of like the way that they organize the folders, I don't know, it's not my favorite where in terms of like how you just like name the page, and it's just not very descriptive, and it can be annoying to find what tab you want and stuff. Yeah.
Maybe you can always also add prettier in there.
Prettier.
Add it to the technology.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Also, just mentioned that also Martina worked on the project, and unfortunately couldn't be available this morning for personal reasons. So, but he's also like contributed to everything, but he could be part of the presentation as well. So, just to mention that.
See you. Okay. Great. A little bit of feedback. So first, it's going to be Olga.
Yeah, well, mine is going to be really quick. That's why I'm going before all. So mine are, I actually don't always give feedback on presentations, but yeah, I wanted to today because the project was actually really good. Like from, I don't know, from my less technical perspective, like congratulations guys, it's impressive the work that you made, and it feels like a solid project that is actually like an actual product shipped and everything. So congratulations on that. The presentation also very solid, and I think everything went well. So apart from that, we can be a little bit picky as usual for you guys to be next time to do an even better. So basically 3 things. So first thing is I think I say that if not in every presentation, almost in every presentation, which is preparation, and the setup is included in the preparation. So obviously at the beginning of the presentation, I said, not my problem, because it's actually your problem. So that's yes, I know, but just in general, like still like for the future, like just to take it into account, like that's one thing, and then the other thing is still like deciding who is going, even if you didn't have access to the room, right? Deciding who's going to be presenting from whose computer, right? Making sure you know that you're presenting in Zoom. Small things like that are going to be saving you time. And again, this is like an informal setup. For us, it doesn't matter. But it's more like for you to keep it on the top of your mind in case you're at any point presenting to your boss or to a group of colleagues. Make sure you think that through. Yeah. And things, for example, even minor things, for example, it was Manel's computer, I think, in the end, no? So, or it is. So, for example, you have Grammarly, I think, on. So that was quite distracting. I feel like when little things like that, just be mindful of the setup is important, especially like since we're full remote right now. So that's one. Second, Juno, that goes specifically for you. I cannot not say it because you're a great presenter, but the fact that today you didn't look us in the eyes, that really hurt my feelings. So I could see, but I don't know why. In the other presentations, that didn't happen to you. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I just wanted to say that. And the third and the last one, but I think you guys already made a disclaimer why that happened. Ange, I really missed you in there. Was it because you weren't available?
He said that.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that's what is the disclaimer, no? Because you weren't available. Okay, fine. Still, I missed you. So yeah, that's a pity. But well, we'll see you on the next one. That's it. So very brief, and then I'll leave you with Roland with his hardcore stuff. No,
Hardcore.
no. I saw your list.
Do you want to give feedback?
No.
No, it's fine. Hardcore, not that much. Like my general feedback goes in the same direction. It was like a very good project, very good presentation. So now what I have is like a little bit of these, you know, little details that will bring you to the next level. So I don't know how you're feeling about the project. It's very cool that I already heard like some things. It's like, wow, nice. This has a nice finishing and everything. It's like, how are you guys feeling about it?
I'm actually quite happy. Like the fact that we went from end to end, you know, like we could actually do the demo in kind of a real scenario. Yeah, it was very cool. Yeah.
Because it's deployed, yes.
Zipper, you could technically do the same process.
You can go to the Code Runner, no, Code Racer.
Code Racer, good job.
I don't know what's happening. CodeRacer.xyz, and then you're going to see it in there. Cool. And you guys, Julian and Ange, the same, no? Like how are you feeling about that?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Pretty good. Love it.
So yeah, that's it. I think that you already noticed that, right? It's like you already see when you finished, you being nervous or whatever, you can be happy about the presentation, or not happy, you know, about the delivery, but what is the product? It gives you a little bit more of confidence. Like what I bet is that if the project was incomplete or the project was so, like the presentation would have been even worse. Well, I don't know, because I think that might be right to assume that maybe you were a little bit nervous also because you were presenting something that was working, so everything was the presentation. Like when you don't have something finished, I don't know if you online understood me, but if you don't have something finished, you're going to explain the process, right? And you're going to make a presentation about the process. And then he's like, well, this is what he's doing, but now I'm going to explain, I'm going to cover up for what is missing, but now everything is on the upside, so you don't put that much effort on the presentation, right? Because it's like, oh, it's done. So maybe that's a good insight. I'm sorry because I'm improvising with all this noise and everything. I wasn't even thinking about that. That's not part of my feedback, but that would be like a good insight. When you achieved what you wanted to do, don't leave the presentation forgiven, like for a done deal. Because actually it's when you have to put the cherry on top, and it's like you don't only have to create a good product, but also to present it. Right? To seem like it's like it. So yeah, that was just like digressing. Okay, some problems that I saw in the presentation and how to solve them. Okay, first, like I think I agree with the thing that this is a practice for the interview process, in which then you can, are they playing racing in there or something? It's like we have like some noises of cars drifting here. Sorry. It's like it's thematic, no? I agree with the thing that this app can help you do better coding interviews, because then you are practicing on the pressure, no, or coding on the pressure. But then what it's even more difficult is to code while presenting a product that will help you with that, right? Do you know what was the problem on the code that you executed? On the demo, like they were coding, and then Anion wrote something, and it was, of course, not working, but not working the way that they were expecting. It was not working on a different way, right? So do you know what was the issue?
Yeah.
It was actually you added like the parentheses, right? And no, now these things happen because you're presenting and you're not coding. That is one, like when I became a teacher, it's one of the most difficult things, talking and coding at the same time and actually make sense. And when it's very difficult indeed. And I'm not saying code better, like the solution is not code better, because you're nervous. But one thing that you can do from here is to always have a copy paste ready solution. Solution or in this case, not solution. Like, what is the final code that you wanted to give? And it's like, at some point when it was not working and not giving the output that you wanted, then you go, okay, wait a second, you copy, paste in there, run again, and now you're back in track. Yeah, I do that a lot myself. Okay, so when you're working with these live things, keep in mind to do that. If you see technical presentations, you're going to see that. Like people at NVIDIA, like presenting something on a new or Unreal Engine. I saw them the other day presenting an algorithm, and they were like coding live and it was not working. They went to the editor, copy, pasted, boom, it was working. Okay, because the guy was nervous in front of thousands of people, right? So that's one. Also, the slide on the key, like on the diagram, that it was like, yeah, let's talk about that later if there are questions. Then put it on Tony later. Like, don't show it, don't even show it. It was very small. And even if you have the entire diagram, only show a diagram when you want to like say something like, oh, you know, what was especially difficult is like instead of the client always asking for the data that it wants and have it immediately, it's like based on an event setting, which is very difficult, like in mindset to get on, but this is how we solved it. And then boom, you show something very small, very minimal that the audience can understand, because if not, it's the entire diagram, right? So out or just the smaller. Careful with the typos. There were like many typos in there. I don't know if you meant technologies or technology with a Y, but it was like technologie, like in French. Like Sockets.io, there was another one as well, like later. So, okay, be mindful for the typos, because that can actually destroy like a perfect presentation. For the learnings, and that's, I'm looking at you because I detected that right. It's like, okay, I think that's the learnings for I think that, I know that you maybe didn't have time, but it's better to put that in common. So I think you can notice, and this is why I bet it's like, Manel, they were like the group learnings or everybody's, right? It was personal. Okay, so try to group a little bit and then just discuss what is only the question that I did, and I was actually making, like, grabbing all of them. I had like very good insights in there that you could have talked about, like, from the group. So of course, try to do that, and if not, also too long. I think that was, I don't know how you felt, but between the introduction, demo, and learning, yeah, learnings. I'm the one that likes the learnings, but it was like too long, and also I prefer like. And that's for everything, for product, for the lesson learn, whatever you're presenting, present what's in for you. Like, what's your point of view? Like go more on the personal side, on why it did happen, and now what was the problem that I had, and how this can improve my life later. No, not just present like this is making a lecture. Yeah, this is like this is like that, this is like that. So you prefer to see what's your what's your personal side? What's your personal like perspective in that side? Also, when talking about Next and Nest, it's like seriously, it's like you have you seen the video on Sweden and Switzerland? Yeah, they make a video on how to decide who talks about every topic so they are not confused anymore. Okay, so Next and Nest, they should sit and see who the fuck gets the name and the other one fucks out. Okay, fucks off. Because I even don't know. I'm sure that other people like even got it, but I don't know when you're talking about Next and when Nest. And so when you're talking about that, you better like make it like sound it like that. Next and Nest. Okay, so you make it the difference. In fact, fun fact, I always use that with when I say LeetCode and Code Wars for the same reason. Yeah, I always like lean down even. Yeah, learning's too long. Also, sorry, man, because I'm going for you. No, but it's just like things to improve. I thought that the answer on the auth thing, it was very user-centric. Like a user could understand. The question was technical. It's like, what kind of authentication are you using? And maybe someone that doesn't know is like, what the fuck is authentication? But the answer was understandable for everybody. No, it's like we focus on features, on what you're going to be able to do and what you're not going to be able to do until we don't have that feature done. Right? And on the database, it was not that clear. So you have to, when communicating about applications, you have to go to the end. Like, okay, so I even asked, remember, that you say, oh, because of the persistence. Cool. But not only the persistence, tell me what I'm going to be able to do and what not, right? So you're telling me that next you're going to put like databases. Okay, what are we going to get with databases? Okay, so right now, for example, if you come to like to do a challenge and you complete it and then you win, yeah, you refresh the page or you go away, you come tomorrow, the system doesn't know absolutely anything about what you did yesterday. And that's a pity because maybe you have been 1 month working on that and you have won like 70 of the 100 battles that you were in. So why not keeping a ranking? Why not keeping, and all this is going to come with the database that we are not able to do right now, right? So it's different, it's different. And even in technical teams also helps going with the user-centric, okay? So focus on that. And that's it. Sorry for the that's actually that was the longer part of the presentation. But again, it was small things. Okay, I'm being picky just for small things, but overall, it was a very good presentation. I bet you're happy, and I don't know. Maybe we can. I mean, this is deployed, but maybe you should get control of the deployment. So now you can continue working on your own and maybe getting more resources, like getting more features on and everything. So maybe you want to practice. Okay. But aside from that, congratulations, everybody. Very, very good job. Right. Anything else? Julian, Ange, anything else? Any question? Anything that you want to cross?
Nothing on my end.
Am I a graduate now?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
Almost. You're almost there, buddy. All right. So let me regroup a little bit. We're going to close this, and then later I'm going to send some things. If you cannot be present this afternoon, most likely I'm going to record whatever we're doing. Okay. For the next things, let's talk on Discord. All right.
All right.
All right. Very good job, everybody. Congrats. Bye, Julian.
Bye.
Bye.